Hi, Rick. We are set on our end.
Okay, just give it another minute, see if Mike can come over. And there he comes. And I'll ask all members of the Committee of Adjustment to come on screen. Oh, and Mr. Buderick wasn't, he's still in, Mr. Buderick's still in the attendees for some reason.
Yeah, I've sent the invite. He hasn't responded and I can't move him over. He has to accept, I believe.
Yeah, he popped out for a second and then showed back up again. Anyway, we have quorum, so I will get going and hopefully Mr. Buderick will join us very shortly. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Committee of Adjustment for the Loyalist Township for this Monday, April the 4th, 2022. It is now 6 p.m. and I'm calling the meeting of the Committee of Adjustment to order. This is an electronic meeting and as usual, all rules of conduct and rules of procedure and other legislation applies as usual. If any member's connection to the meeting is dropped, we will pause for a moment to allow that member to reconnect. And if that member cannot reconnect, but we still have quorum, we will continue the meeting after a few moments. At this time, I would note that Penny Porter has indicated she is sending her regrets for this evening. With that, and there's Mr. Buderick, welcome. We are just at the point of adoption of the agenda. Okay. Is there anything to add to the agenda for this evening? Seeing no hands, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda. And Mr. Hagedorn, seconded by and Ms. Parks. Thank you. Any comment? I'll call the question. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Any opposed? Motion is carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof? I'm seeing no hands. We'll move forward. We have before us the Committee of Adjustment minutes from March the 7th. Are there any noted errors or omissions within those minutes? Seeing no hands. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes, please? Mr. Townend, seconded by Mr. Hagedorn. Thank you. Any comment? I'll call the question. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Any opposed? Motion is carried. So we move to our public meeting. I believe there's only one for this particular session of the Committee of Adjustment. That being item 5.1 is D13-002-2021 regarding 4506 Bath Road, minor variance. And I believe we have staff here to present. Mr. Soni.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'll be presenting this minor variance application for the subject lot located at 4506 Bath Road. 410 Planning Plus Design on behalf of the owner is requesting a minor variance from our township bylaw. First, to allow a 15-meter to 0-meter reduction to the floodplain line for an existing stairway and its associated landings to access Lake Ontario. Second, to reduce the rear yard setback for the accessory structure from 1.2 meters to 0 meters. And third, to reduce the 1.2 meter setback between an interior side lot line and a driveway to 0 meters to allow the existing driveway to be located within the interior side lot line. The subject property is designated low density residential in Schedule C of the township's official plan and is zone residential type 1 in zoning bylaw. Further, the subject property is located on the south side of the Bath Road, which is a provincial highway. The surrounding neighborhood contains predominantly residential and commercial land uses. However, open spaces are interspersed throughout. The site is immediately adjacent to a commercial plaza an open space area, a residential dwelling, and Lake Ontario. The subject site currently contains a single detached dwelling with accessory structure subject to this minor variance application. Since this is a minor variance application, it should be any decision on the application should be consistent with the provincial policy statement and should meet the 4 tests as per section 45(1) of the Planning Act. So the rationale for those tests are as mentioned below. The subject property is located within one of the county's urban areas within which a range of land uses are permitted. The Loyalist Township official plan designates the subject land as low-density residential in its Schedule C. Although the access stairway and associated landings are located within the floodplain, their occupation is infrequent and brief given that they are used solely as pathways. A geotechnical report and structural as-built drawing have been prepared and submitted as a part of the application, which indicate that the structure was designed and constructed to facilitate safe access through the erosion hazard to the water. Moving further, the proposed development application does not impact the site's residential density, nor does it impact access to the property from the street. The stairway provides access to the Lake Ontario, whose shoreline would otherwise be difficult to reach due to presence of a steep slope abutting the lake. The 2 landings located along the stairway are necessary to maintain the structure's integrity as indicated within the geotechnical assessment report attached. In addition, the CRCA has confirmed that the stairway will not further aggravate the flooding and erosion hazards and noted that a permit can be issued under the Conservation Authority's regulation. And finally, the existing driveway is well constructed and is screened by landscaping from the adjacent residents. Also, the PPS policies were reviewed and it was found that the proposed application is inconsistent with those policies. Therefore, the staff is of the opinion that the proposed minor variance application is consistent with PPS and meets the general intent of both the official plans. The consideration for zoning bylaw. So as mentioned before, the subject land is zone residential type 1, and it requires minor variance under section 4.1.7 for the accessory structure to be located in the rear yard, from section 4.11b for the accessory structure to be located in the floodplain line, and from section 4.27c for the driveway located within the interior side lot line. Relief from the interior side lot line setback for a driveway is sought to recognize the existing paved driveway, and the reduction will not negatively affect the protection of water shutoff valves. The staircase is supposed to be solely used for the access, which reduces the risks posed by the floodplains and erosion hazards. Therefore, staff are of the opinion that the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw has been satisfied. Moving further, is the variance desirable for appropriate development or use of the land? So the requested variances are considered an appropriate development of the land as the accessory building is in keeping with the residential use of the property. The existing driveway is logically positioned from the adjacent entranceway to the north and is visually screened from adjacent land uses and provides desirable parking for residential use. Also, the stairway and the associated landings were confirmed to be structurally safe by a geotechnical expert and structural engineer. For the above reasons, planning staff are of the opinion that the variance is desirable, compatible and is appropriate use of land. Finally, is the variance minor in nature? So the applicant is seeking to legalize an access stairway that incorporates several landings as well as the driveway. The stairway and associated landings will not further aggravate erosion and floodplain hazards and are not observable from Bath Road and do not impose a negative impact on the surrounding area. For these reasons, planning staff are of the opinion that the variance is minor in nature. Moving forward, the application had already been reviewed by internal departments and vetted through local agencies to ensure compliance with the above criteria. And then there were no comments in conflict obtained by any of the departments or agencies. The notice of public meeting was distributed in the prescribed fashion, which involves personal notice by mail to all property owners within 120 meters, and it was also posted on the site, and there were no public comments obtained. So because of all these reasons, the staff is of the opinion that the minor variance application should be approved. And we also have David Nanton from Fortin Consultancy if we have any further questions for the application. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Soni. And committee members, do you have any questions for the staff presenter at this time? I'll go to Mr. Gordon.
Hi. So just a little clarity. You're recommending we approve the minor variance application. What regarding the landscaping and the rocks at the back, that is okay then? There's no issue with that? I know there's some issues on this property with CRAC, but not with us.
So through you, Mr. Chair, the landing, which is on the side, which is mostly on the east side of the lot, is not a part of the subject or this minor variance application. And based on the conversation with the staff, it was determined that a survey is required in order to determine the exact lot lines. And if all the other decisions will be related or in correspondence with that survey. So I think it's a different part altogether, okay, as compared to this minor variance application. And if anyone, like if David or Andrea wants to add something, they are free to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for our staff representative at this time? Seeing none. This is a public meeting. Right. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on this application? And I'll call again. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to this application? And I would request that anyone who does wish to do so, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom to indicate their desire to present. I will call a third and final time. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to this application? Seeing none, we'll move forward to the committee. Do you have any final questions or comments with regards to the application and the recommendation to approve presented before us today? Seeing no questions or comments, I will ask for a motion to with regards to this. I'll go to Councillor Gordon or Mr. Gordon. So moved.
Move to receive and adopt number 1, approve the minor variance as outlined in the staff recommendation.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for that? I'll take Mr. Hagedorn. Thank you. Any comments from the mover or seconder? Any comments from anyone else? Then I will call the question. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Any opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. Thank you to staff. I don't think there's anything else. We have no decisions, no other business. Our next scheduled committee of adjustment is scheduled for May the 2nd. And with that, unless there's something further, I will call for a motion to adjourn. Mr. Townend, seconded by Mr. Gordon. Any comment? Call the question. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Any opposed? Motion is carried. The Committee of Adjustment is adjourned. I do note that we have both a special council meeting scheduled for 6:30 and a committee of the whole scheduled for immediately thereafter. I would ask anyone in the audience to join into those if they so choose, and ask that council or committee members, as they change roles to council, give a pause of about 5 minutes before logging into the special council Zoom to allow the clerk staff to finalize the recording and move on to the next one. We will see you all in about 10 minutes. Thank you.